Okay. Fine. So till day 7 is what I believe we have completed. And now in the day 8, what we will be doing is we will be uh, looking into this agenda, Java recursion, strict FP keyword where we can use it, Java doc tool, command line argument, and the difference between object versus classes and object loading and overloading and overriding. So recursion is nothing but when you are calling the same function again and again, that's called as recursive functions. And this is also one way of looping where we can call the same functions with some conditions. So once that condition is over, then we are not going to call the functions. But if we keep on calling one function recursively without any condition, then we may end up in having a stack overflow error, because you would be aware of stack memory and the heap memory. Those two kinds of memory will be there. So all your methods will be going into the stack. So say suppose the example is, if I want to write a function for factorial, and factorial 5 means 5 multiplied by 4 by 3 by 2 by 1. So we can write in this fashion. Means I have created a factorial method, and you can see what we are doing. If it is 1, return 1, else return n multiplied by, means whatever number, if it is 5, factorial of 5 minus 4, which means 4, multiply by with factorial 4, or multiply with factorial 3, factorial 2, factorial 1. So this is how the recursion is going to work. Stop me if you have any doubt. Anyway, we are going to see this program as well. Then another keyword is strict FP. So this keyword normally we will be using just to ensure that that you are going to get the same result on every platform. So say suppose if you perform operation in floating point variable, and precision may differ from platform to platform. When I say platform here, I'm talking about Java platform and any other platform. That is the reason why strict FP is the keyword which Java has provided. FP means floating point, and the floating point is I believe you are aware of floating point. Maybe in C, C++ you might have heard about the floating numbers or floating point, where you will be having a decimal uh, after decimal, whatever numbers will be written, those are known as floating numbers. So here, how to use this strict FP? Either we can use before the class, or we can use before the interface, or we can use before the method. So this is how we can do it. Where we cannot use it is, we cannot use it in the abstract methods, and we cannot use it with the data modifiers, and then we cannot use it with what I can say, the constructor. So methods, variable, and constructor is what we won't be able to do it. But for all the floating point arithmetic operations, you can use it. So it's just mainly the theoretical aspects only. I don't think anywhere in the programming you will be able to use it at this moment. Java doc tool. This is very important. So mainly in Java, you will be seeing this kinds of comments: single slash and then double asterisk, whatever you are writing, and the closing will be asterisk and this backward slash. This forward slash and backward slash, or what is this slash known as? It's forward or backward? I believe it's forward only. So these two slashes in between whatever you will write, over the mouse over of that function or that particular class, you will be seeing uh, mainly from the Java util libraries, you'll be seeing something is written why this class is useful, why this function is useful, what is the main use of this interface. uh, if you are taking some jars and you are using system inbuilt API, that time also why this specific API is used. So all those things you will be seeing in the command. So as a best programming practice, whenever you are creating any new class, so we will recommend you to have a Java doc comments as well, and for new methods write a Java documentation comments. So your Java doc tool will be used to create all those comments. If you for any API, if you want to generate the comments, you can have a Java doc tool help in doing that. So class method constructor fields is what you can use, and you need not to compile a Java file if you are just writing this command also, no, Java doc with your class name. So in your command, you can say, so this Java doc is a command. So Java doc, your class name dot Java. If you are going to write, it is going to generate document for any specific APIs which will be there. Okay, and then one folder will be created in this. There you can see some HTML files, and then you can go to your specific class, and there you can see this documentations. So this is where you can use Java doc. Command line argument is something which we have not run it, but ran it earlier. But you can see in our public static void main, you can see this string and args. This argument is nothing but your command line argument, you can say. So if you want to pass any argument here in this particular string, so the time you are running your Java application, so for compilation, you will say Java C of command line dot Java. But if you want to run it by by passing command line argument, so after Java command line example, if you are not passing anything, which means it will consider no argument is passed. But after your class space, if you are passing any string or array of string, uh, those things it will be taking as the argument. So Sonu will be your first argument in this. And if you want to print it, likewise, you can print in the same fashion. Okay. So basically over the console, you are going to pass this when you want to run it. And now it's a theory only, the difference between object and class, its instance, its blueprint, its real world entity, it's similar kind of objects, its physical entity, its logical entity. Normally new keyword we will be using for creating the object, as we see student equal to new students. Class keyword is there many times once. Yeah, this is the most important thing. The last point is, whenever you are creating object, it is going to allocate some memory. Whenever you see this new keyword, the memory allocation is there. But if you are going to create class, it is as such, it is not going to create any memory in your heap or stack. You may have hundreds of classes in your application, but for those classes alone, it's not going to create memory. Inside class, whenever you are writing some object, that time memory allocation will be there. And new instance, clone method, factory method, deserializations, there are all the ways for creating of the object. But for class is just one specific way. You need to have a keyword as class in front of a class, then only you can create a class. Overloading, overriding, I believe we have already covered that also. Uh, when I say overloading, it is inside a class. Overriding, when you are having a parent-child relationship. Means in class A is the parent, and in class B or C, you are overriding that method. Overloading is kind of square area is a function, and that area can be of square, it can be of cube, it can be of circle, something like that. Uh, That's known as method overloading. Parameter is going to be different here. Everything will be same. So all those things already we have seen. So quickly we will jump to the programs, and then if we get time, we are going to start with the Spring also today, not Spring, String. Okay, so Java project. Let me say it as date. Okay, fine. So this is Java day 8. Let's select all and deselect these things. Okay, so quickly we can go through these programs. Okay, this is the example of recursion. What do you think it's going to happen? So there is a main method, and inside main method I am calling a function a p, and in the p functions I am again calling a p. So recursively it will go up to infinite. My program is not going to terminate explicitly. I have to terminate it. You want to give a try? And let's see. Okay. So recursion example, you can see it ran, and then somewhere here after so many hellos, see here you got Stack Overflow error, and it's error. Okay, we will be seeing when we are going to learn exception handling, what is error, what is checked exception, and checked exception. So Stack Overflow is one kind of error which you will be getting, where the programmer won't be having any control, and you can see this is how it's propagated. Fine. Coming to the next one. So here again it's recursive function only, but here now we have added one condition that every time your count is going to increase by 1, and for 5 times is what this is going to run. After 5 times it's not going to run. So run as Java application, and you can see hello 1 2 3 4 5, because your counter is there. That counter I am increasing, and I'm saying hello of count. So every time this count is increasing, so this is example of recursion function. Likewise, this is the factorial example. I already explained it to you in our PPT. We can just run it. Okay, but if you have any doubt, you can ask me. So factorial of 5 is 120. 5 multiplied by 4, 3, and 2. And this one is also an example of recursion for printing Fibonacci series. So here, no, print Fibo is a function which we are doing. So SOP of 0 and 1 we are printing first, and then after 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, so on, it is going to print. So this is the logic. One, the first two number has to be added, and those numbers we are going to assign to n1 and n3. So this is also a simple program also for Fibonacci series 0, 1, 2, so on. I am moving further. So creating API documentation. So if you want to create API doc, say suppose this is whatever you have written here. So for this particular class, when you are going to run Java doc command, that time it is going to generate this API documentation for you. Why this error is coming? Because com.abc is the package which we have to create. If you want to put it normally, you'll be having so many packages. It will be say new package com.abc, and I can move this thing here. Okay, so after moving this, this got resolved. We don't have anything in this, but fine. So it's mainly the cube problem. Over the command prompt, we can go to this particular file, and then we can execute this specific command. So if we want to do that, let me open my terminal. Just a minute. So I'm moving to the next program. This Java doc is what we can run it into our command prompt, and that is going to generate index.html. Apart from that, we'll be seeing how from the command line argument, if we want to run any specific program, that also how we can run it. So for all the Windows machine which you are having, can you do one thing in your Java where you are having a bin directory? Can you go to the bin directory path and execute Java C of this small program which we are having? If you want to try, I'm just putting it over the chat. Okay, I'm stopping my screen share. Can someone share your screen so that we can see once?
We can share my screen. I actually forgot where the Java is. Where it is. Sagar, can you help me?
Yes. 1 minute.
Says access is denied.
Ideally, it should not. Can you open your notepad once? I mean, this class. So we have a class definition. First argument, class as simple, public static void. Yeah, this looks fine.
Are there any permissions I should put in?
You rename it as .java only, no?
Yeah, it does say simple.java, Java type file.
Okay. Let's copy this simple.java somewhere outside.
Okay.
Go to, yeah. Copy this, go to that path. Yeah, here inside backup only.
Okay.
Now CD of backup, go to that backup path and these brackets.
Is there any direct command? Just kidding. Okay. Okay, so on desktop.
Put on that folder backup name.
Yeah, so I am in C folder now. So how do I go to desktop?
You
And then backup.
just copy the absolute path, you know. Yep, yeah. Copy that. Yes.
Okay.
Go there. Now you're on C. No, to go inside backup.
It says cannot find the one. Just a minute. I will try to put my results.
Okay, click on desktop. Click on desktop. Click on that file. Click on desktop. Click on the folder.
Yeah.
Yeah, now copy this path. Yeah. Okay, now try to execute from here. Could not load the name. Okay, let me check once. Okay, so here we are. So this is done, and the last program is this, where I want to, where we want to give different arguments here. So, if you are, so you have given this one argument. If you want to give several other arguments, and we want to run like this, you can do the same thing there as well. Okay, if I'm say suppose what is going to happen if I'm going to run it here. I won't be getting anything because I'm not running it from the command line. If I'm going to from your Eclipse IDE, if I'm running, you can see I'm not getting anything because for Eclipse IDE, it's like we are just running this C07A class, but we are not passing anything. But over your command line, if you are going to say, suppose, do Java C of 07A, and then if you are going to write something like this, then we are going to get output as 1, 2, 3, and so on. Okay, so let me take you to 9 slides. So this specific program, let me run it here and show. So say suppose I'm into this folder, like CD of this particular path I have given Sagar, and so I have already executed Java C. So that is the reason you can see C07A.class got created, and it's the same class from the folder. Now, if I want to write here as Sagar, my full name as Shankar Ghate. So I have passed the argument 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 argument is what I have passed. And when I'm entering it, you can see the output as 1, 2, 3, Sagar Shankar Ghate. And that's the same thing which we were trying to achieve it here. Okay, got it. So it's very simple. If you when your class path is set, basically go into your specific folder wherever you are this particular classes are going to be created, or if you don't want to set the path in the bin directory itself, if you are putting from there also you can run it and then run it in this fashion. Well, this is completed, so we're having some more time. Let's jump to this section now. So today we will be starting with string. String is very important in Java, and in the string itself, at least up to theoretically we will be okay. Let me cover the theory, and then we'll be seeing how many programs we can do. So why string is immutable, string comparison, concatenation, breaking down the string, basically creating a substring from that. There are many inbuilt methods in the string class available. We'll be seeing that. And what is string buffer, string builder, difference between the string and string buffer, buffer and builder, and how we can create immutable class. And this is string method, very important. That also we'll be seeing. And this tokenizer is when you want to use some regular expression or you want to break the string, that time we can use this as well. Okay. So, yep. So sequence of character is basically string. And when I say suppose my character ch, this is an array. I'm having a array, and if this array, if I want to put string s equal to new of string of character, so this is equivalent of writing string s equal to Java Excellent. So this string class internally implements 3 interfaces. So serializable interface, comparable interface, and char sequence interface. So these 3 interfaces been implemented by your string class, and this character sequence interface is also implemented by string buffer and string builder. That is the reason you will be seeing no, whatever you can achieve with string, you can do with the string buffer and string builder also. And then Java in turn will be providing many string operations like compare, concatenate, equal, split, and all that we will be seeing in details. And this char sequence is a interface which will be helping us know to put string in this way. And very important thing is in Java, string is immutable. The meaning of immutable is we cannot change the value of string once it is been created. So whenever we change any value of the string, a new instance is created internally. How that is done, you will be seeing. But if you want to make string as mutable, then you can use either string buffer or string builder. So sorry. So string is immutable, string buffer and string builder is mutable, which means you can change. Now let's see what is going to happen internally whenever your Java is going to create any string. So like we have different other primitive data types like int, long, char, and all. Likewise, we can consider this string as also one of the data type. Okay, but this is a class, and it is coming from Java Lang string, Java Lang package only. And in the Java Lang package, you are having a string class. And basically, you are having two ways for creating any string object. One is by using the new keyword, and second is by using string literal. So this is known as by using string literals. So anything you put in the double quotes and you are going to assign the value. So I'm creating S1 and S2 as the two string. So what happens is you are having all the objects in the heap. Sorry, all the objects in the stack. So this is your stack memories. So all the functions and your objects will be created in the stack, but the reference of those objects will be into the heap. So now what is going to happen each time you are going to create a string with the string literals, your JVM is going to check whether this particular literal which you have no just created, whether that is already present is in the string pool or not. So there is a concept which is known as string constant pool. So this is how string internally manages the memory, because we are saying string is immutable, which means we cannot create a same object again. And even though if I think no, I'm doing string s1 equal to welcome, and then string s1 and then s1 equal to welcome plus something, welcomes power school. So that time string will end up in creating another object. But for efficiency, if already this literal has been created, so my s1 is going to, when s1 got created, it has inside your string constant pool, it has registered one constant known as welcome. And now once s2 is created, that time this s2 will directly point to this welcome. Okay, so the reference to the pooled instance is been written for S2. So say suppose if this welcome is not present in the pool, then we will be having another string constant. Okay, say suppose if I say Sagar, so again the Sagar will be created here. So and this is how internally it will work. First, it will try to find if the same constant is available. If not, then it will be doing it. Why so? Because whenever you are going to refer something, so when I say string s1 equal to welcome, internally string will end up in creating string s1 equal to new of string, and then will be passing welcome, which means new keyword internally your string is going to use it. But when I say string s2 equal to welcome, so here in this case the new object is not created. In turn, for this S2, it is going to it's going to refer to the same string pool constant. And this spatial memory is known as string pool constant inside your heap. Now, this is another example. Say suppose I will say my string as Sachin. So the moment I say Sachin, so S got referred to this Sachin inside your string constant pool. But if I want to concatenate this S with Tendulkar, which means Sachin, and then I want to add Tendulkar. So the moment I do the concatenate method, what it is going to do is it is going to end up in creating another what I can say, another object. That is the reason you will say here different constant pool, that is Sachin Tendulkar. You are not seeing Sachin separately and Tendulkar separately, but Sachin Tendulkar you will be getting it as one string constant. But yeah, now if I say S2 equal to Sachin Tendulkar, then it is going to refer to Sachin Tendulkar. Fine. So, yep, that is what I wanted to explain here. Let's move to this string comparison. So here we are having three methods for comparing the string. So one is equal method, second is this double equal to operator, and there is a compare to method. So the basic difference what we will be seeing is whenever we want to do some authentication kind of thing, that time we will be using equals method. And when something sorting and all we will be doing if we are using some collections, that time we will be using this compare to. And only for reference matching, not the object matching, only for reference matching we'll be using this operator. Now the example can be, say suppose S1 S2 both are Sachin, and if I say is S1 equal to S2, it is going to give me as true, because both are referring to the same instance, because we have seen in the string pool again the Sachin will be created, and first your S1 will refer to Sachin, and in your string pool this S2 is also going to refer to Sachin. But if I say S1 equal to S3, now here new object got created. Okay, here new object was not created because Sachin was already there, but here explicitly you are saying S3 equal to new object. So this time if you try to compare S1 equal to S3, both are referring to different instance in the string pool. So this Sachin is into the string pool, but S3 is not into the string pool. That is the non-pool reference. So when I say S1 equal to S3, that time I am going to get result as false. This compare to method is again your inside string class itself. It is going to return you 0 or 1. So, and then 0, 1 or -1 when it is greater, less, or equal to. So when I say S1 compared to S2, it is giving you as 0. And when I say S1 compared to S3, which means it's 1, because again that is in the string constant and this particular thing is there. So let's try to run this in some of the programs which we'll be seeing. Second is this equal method. So for equal method also you can see S1 equal S2 is true and S1 equal S3 is also true, because this equal method is only going to see the whatever constant is there. If I say Sachin equals Saurabh, or means S1 equals S4 or S2 equals S4 or S3 equals S4, in all those cases it's going to give us false. Okay, so there is slight difference between this compare to, equals, and uh, operator method. So uh, depending on the on the requirement, we will be seeing what specific thing we are going to use. Always, whenever you will be using compare to, because this equals and operator are going to return you boolean, but this compare to method is going to return you always some integer value, whether it's less than, equal to, or greater than thing. Concatenation is another thing which we can do by two things. One is by using this plus operator, that is known as concatenation operator. Second thing is by using this concat method into the string. So say suppose if I say Sachin plus Tendulkar, again it can become Sachin Tendulkar, or I can say S1 concat of S2. That I can put it in the S3. Both the ways we are going to get the same result, but there are many things which compiler generally do. So when compiler is going to compile this code for this Sachin, it will be saying new of string builder append Sachin, and then here it's going to append Tendulkar, and then dot to string method is going to apply. So internally your compiler is going to do this, because always for concatenation your string is your string class internally going to use string builder or string buffer for any specific append method. Because it cannot concatenate the same values, means whenever it is going to concatenate, it will end up in creating new object. So if you say string s equal to Sachin plus Tendulkar and it's the same place, this is one object. But again, if I am going to add here Sachin Ramesh Tendulkar, then that s will become another object, another string object. Fine. And now about the substring, we are having a substring method. Like if say suppose Sachin Tendulkar is my string, if I say as dot substring, what it will do, it will take the start index as 6. So from the 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I will get the Tendulkar. And if we pass two arguments here, it is going to take the start index and the end index. So 0 is my start index, so S is my start index, and then from there 6. So 3, 3. This Sachin is going to print. So this is how we can slice our string into the substring by passing this to indexes in our substring function. Methods of string class, we are having several methods. Few of them you can see, like to uppercase. So the moment you will do object, the string object dot uppercase, you will get Sachin. To lowercase, you can see this S was there, that the first letter of the word got to the lowercase, and okay, there is no change. And then you can check some boolean also, whether your string starts with SA or not. So yeah, it starts with SA, so you got true. Whether it ends with N or not, so it ends with N, so you got true. So, and then apart from that, you can get the character at. So character at 0th index is S. Character at third index is so 0, 1, 2, 3. So third index is H. So I am getting as H. And then string dot length. This length is going to return me 6. Likewise, you will be having different functions. Along with that, one function is suppose this replace function. If I want to replace Java with Kava, so here you will be getting Kava as a programming language, and so it is going to compare this particular keyword in the existing string and going to replace it with whatever new thing you want to replace it. So this is how we can do it. Another thing is, if you want to Trim means if there are some spaces in your string, if you want to remove those spaces, you cannot directly use this trim function. So say suppose if I just do the output, I will be getting spaces and then the output, and then again, so space will be here, but over your console you may not able to find the difference. But if you say trim, this spaces won't be there. Secondly, there is another function which is known as value of. So string dot value of a will be going to return you the 10. Again, this 10, it is not converting it into the string, but it is taking the value of, and this is also one way where I can create one new string with some integer if I want to actually convert it. So this some methods are there. Quickly, we will jump to the programs. Okay. New Java project. D9. Okay, things are simple, so I will be a little fast, but no, do stop me if you think, Sagar, we are going at high pace. So D9, select all, remove this 3. Okay, fine. So let's start with one. This was very simple example. It's Java. S1 is what Java, or I can do in the same fashion. Characters of array of characters is nothing but string. So if I want to create, no, my another thing, I can say new of string, and then I can pass this character. Or if I want, I can directly pass in the double quotes these things. So there are 3 ways. In all the 3 ways, I can do it. Either, so this is by using the string literal. In the double quotes, you are just passing it. This is where you are converting the array character into the string, and this is the way you are using with the new keyword. So basically, you are calling a constructor, string constructor with one argument. And let me close this one. Operator example only, it's taking the detail. Okay, Java string an example. Straightforward, it was simple way. Let's move to the next one. Yes. Here, I'm going to concatenate, and the output will be Sachin Tendulkar. So, so there is nothing which we can get out from this example. It's only main thing which it's written is string is immutable. In the sense, because the Java uses the concept of string literals, and here we are having a reference variables. So if the string literal is created internally, your compiler is end up going to put it into your constructor only. Internally, it will say string s equal to new of Sachin only. So if we are having one reference variable, and we are going to change the value of that particular reference variable, it is going to affect all the reference variable. And your Java doesn't want that. That is the reason it is no going to make it as immutable. So a concept of that string pool comes, and there if the literals are there, so the new objects are going to refer to the existing literal. But if say suppose some new literal comes in your string constant pool, that time a new object is going to refer to that particular new created literals. Okay, and this is the
Sagar,
main thing. This line is very important. Why Java made it as immutable? Yes.
Sagar, a doubt here. So in the same example program, in case if I store s dot concat this statement into a string a variable, would it save the whole string Sachin Tendulkar in that case? Because I remember in the slideshow, internally string builder was being used. So
Yes, you mean to say something. 1 minute, let me understand. You are saying let's have CS, and then you
yes,
are saying S dot
as
concatenation. Concat of what? Anything.
yeah, anything.
So now here what's going to happen is, and yeah, let me do this as well. So the moment I am going to execute this statement, so Sachin and Tendulkar already is there in this S. Now it's going to add one more PS, and this CS will be new object. This is what you want to
Okay.
ask, whether this will be new object or not. This will be new object.
Okay. So if I print just S, you're saying that it would be just Sachin?
No. Here, if you
Okay.
print the S, it will be Sachin Tendulkar because concatenation is done. Here, say suppose, let's do one thing.
Yeah.
Let's print Sachin here before concatenation. You will get a Sachin.
Okay.
Then let's print this thing. Okay, so if I'm going to run this, what you can see first, you will be getting a Sachin. Then okay, so here it is Sachin. Hey, what happened to Tendulkar?
Yeah, it is not concatenating because this comment says it'll print only Sachin because strings are
Yes, yes, got it.
yeah.
Yes, correct. That is the reason if we want to if we want to do it, we can use the plus operator, and internally it is going to print the string builder because I can do this thing. So if I want to concatenate, so this is the correct approach for doing it. Because
Okay.
even though if I say s dot concat, uh, uh, at runtime it is creating a new object, but that object is not assigning to the
Not.
existing s because s is immutable. Correct. Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you. Thanks for asking the query. Okay, moving to next one. Yes. Yeah, this example we have seen. S dot concatenate. This is going to print Sachin Tendulkar. Already we have seen Sachin PS. Okay, so this is also the same program. No need to run it. Fine, moving to next one, comparison one. Okay, so already we have seen this. let me quickly run it. True, true, and false. Because when we say equals, this equal methods will compare only the original content of the string. So content is Sachin here. Here content got changed to Saurabh. So S1 is equals S2, S1 equals S3 is also true, but S1 equals S4 will be false. So, and this equals method, okay, let's see. So if I mouse over, whatever you see, this is Java documentation comments, and you can see the signature. We can pass any object inside this, and what this returns true if the given representation of string is equivalent to string, false otherwise. So this will be very if you want to do. And when you are using, say, suppose equals, that time if you want to do compare to method or compare ignore case, this is also one method. If you want to use it, we can say, suppose if I say this small and going to run it, you can see here s1 equal s2 is false because content is different. This is uppercase, this is lowercase. But if I say equals, what was that? Sorry. If I run this, it's going to give me true. So which specific function we want to use, that we can always use. Fine, moving to the next one. Here it is compare to method. We don't have any S3. Let's create one S3. Oh, already I ran that program. Sorry. It's the same thing, equals ignore case. So first is false, second is true. Anyway, we have covered this is for the equal to operator. I'm not going to write it now because here we can see the result. When I say S1 equal to S2, it is true, but it is false because both are referring to different instance in the non-pool. After running it also, it is going to give us true and false. I am saving that time for running it. Here again, the compare to method is there. So if S1 compares to S2 is equal to 0, which means that's true. But for S1 and S3 or S3 and S1, if you know, if they are different, so lengthwise it is 6, it is 5, and if it is a greater than that, so positive result will come. Whatever positive value, it will say 1. For negative value, it will say -1. Positive means that string is greater. Negative means that string is less. Internally, it's going to generate the value by using this lexicography, and going to return you the string. Again, it will be true, false, false for our understanding. Fine. And when I say compared to S1 compared to, so it is going to check S1 is greater than S3. Here S3 compared to, again For this also, he will be checking whether S3 is greater than S1 or not. So on the basis of that value, it will be calculating. Let's move to next one, that is concatenation. Yeah, concatenation example already we have seen. By using this plus operator also we can do it, and your compiler will be using this methods, new of string builder, append of Sachin. So this part will become new of string builder, and then the append function he will be using, and Sachin. And for this plus append Tendulkar dot toString. So there are two different things happening here. Your this plus is this append method, and for this Sachin, so this is called as casting. Okay, maybe we have seen whenever we are using this new of object without assigning, it will become anonymous. But okay, we are assigning it to the string, but internally what it is doing is, with this string builder object, it is going to append Sachin and then Tendulkar, and then making, and then this toString method always going to convert it into the string. What's going to happen if I put here if I want to show you this method toString. So the return type is string. It's create a copy, don't share the array. So what it is returning, it is returning you the string. So this entire operation from here to here is going to return you string only. So don't get confused, Sagar, how we are mixing this string builder here. So this function will be taking care of that. And this toString method also will be seeing, say suppose in text equal to 1200, and I can say string y equal to x dot toString. Sorry. I think so. It's let's see. Cannot involve toString to primitive type. Okay. Yes. Okay. So I cannot do like this. We cannot uh, convert like this. Means if there is a value, that particular value is what I can convert it into the toString method. Say suppose if there is a JSON which you are passing and all, from the JSON, if you want to take any value and put it into the string, that is what we can do. Okay. Second way of concatenation is, there is no other second way. This plus plus operator, when we are doing, and it is a string, that time till here, so your string concatenation operator is there, it cannot concatenate your primitive okay, let me run this one. So first these two things is your primitive normal additional operator. the moment this concatenation comes, so here new string builder or a string buffer comes, and once this got happened, uh, you can see it start doing append dot append dot append. So when start doing append dot append, so this 40 got appended and this 40 got appended. So anything after that, if you write, this will be string. And I believe before that, if you are writing anything, that should be the number. That's my understanding. Let's see. Yes. Okay. This example already we have seen the with the concat method. So Sachin and Tendulkar simply is going to be concatenated. And then we are having substring. This is also going to give you the same. I already explained you over the PPT. No, this is from the starting index it will be Tendulkar, and first index and last index it will take as Sachin. The last program which we are having is there are many functions, the values which it is doing. So it is going to convert it into the uppercase. This is into lowercase. This starts with SA equal to true, false. We have seen character 0 will be S, and this also we have seen string S. Okay, so let us have the string S1 and S1. So you are going to get this result. Okay, that's fine. So this is new method intern. What this intern do? A string that has the same content as the string but is guaranteed to be from a pool of unique strings. Okay, so it's with respect to your string pool only. So if you want to create one more string and you want to refer it to the previous particular string literal, that time you can do in this fashion. So here it is not going to create a new object, but in turn it is going to refer it to the same string pool which it is containing. And yeah, and instead, so any object, if you want to convert it into the string, there is a toString object. There's a toString method. But for all the primitive type, if you want to do, you are having value of function. So string dot value of a. Basically, it can work with long, double, and all the things. And then you will be getting the value of this is 10, and then 10 plus 10, whatever output you are going to get. In one program, everything I have done, replace S by 5. Let us run this. Sachin solution, true, false, Sachin. That's fine. Java is programming language. It's there. So since this is already string, and when you're going to concatenate any number also, so because this is returning string, that's why you got 10. If I do a plus 10, that time you will be getting here as 20. Yep. So I believe, yeah, whatever we have seen, we are getting the same output. Yep.